compliance. The importer has a responsibility to ensure foreign products conform with standards. For the Standards Organization of Nigeria, our primary responsibility is to ensure that locally manufactured products in Nigeria give the required satisfaction to consumers through compliance with standards and ensure goods imported into the country meet the minimum requirements of Nigerian industrial standards. What about you, the consumer? Do you know your rights? Do you verify expiry dates before purchasing? Do you read contents of goods warranty card? Do you check for product certification marks? Do you read and follow safety instructions? Do you use products appropriately? Do you speak up by reporting cases of fake and substandard products to the SON? If your answers to these questions are positive, good for you. Otherwise, you are neglecting your consumer responsibility. No doubt, all hands must be on deck to fight against fake and substandard products in Nigeria. You have a role to play. For any question, complaints, or suggestion, you can send in your messages to the number 0705-972-4455. Follow us on any of our social media platforms on Facebook at Standard NU, Instagram and Twitter at Standard NU _. You can catch up with missed episodes at youtube.com/Standard NU. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks and enjoy the rest of the week.
Product, yeah. Make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live. Buy original. You should know where to go. The SON.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Welcome to Nigeria, a fascinating country. Take a trip through one of the most beautiful places on earth. A journey of discovery. A unique opportunity to get in touch with unspoiled nature. Enjoy your time in a place that offers something for everyone. Beautiful contrasts. An experience you won't forget.
Hello, thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Ruth Aguele. Let's take the headlines. Supreme Court fixes date to deliver judgment on Osun State governorship election. Independent National Electoral Commission promises automatic employment for outstanding core members during 2019 general elections. Countdown to AFCON 2019 begins with 52 live matches and 24 countries contending for the cup. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with families of victims of bomb blast at a viewing center in Mandarari, Kondoga local government area of Borno State on Sunday. The president sends condolences to the government and people of the state over the attacks by suicide bombers. The Nigerian leader decries the heinous acts, stressing that perpetrators of evil acts have judgment awaiting them, not only from man via the long arms of the law, but also from God Almighty. He urges security agents to sustain surveillance in all threats of security challenges in the country, taking into consideration the unconventional methods deployed by terrorists to harm innocent and unsuspecting victims. The President commends the efforts of emergency response workers and humanitarian organizations. And now on judiciary, the Supreme Court has fixed the 5th of July 2019 to deliver judgment on the Osun State governorship election. This is sequel to the closing of arguments by counsel to both Ademola Adeleke of the PDP, the appellant, and Governor Boyega Oyetola of the APC. Olabode Arewa reports.
Boyega Oyetola in the election. 4 separate appeals were filed by the appellant to challenge the verdict of the Court of Appeal, which reaffirmed the victory of Boyega Oyetola as the duly elected governor of the state. However, the Apex Court ruled that the appellant should consolidate 3 of the 4 cases pending before it. In the principal matter, Onyechi Ekweazu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, counsel to Ademola Adeleke, pleaded with the court to restore Adeleke's victory, saying the inconclusive election of the 22nd of September 2018 showed that Adeleke won at least 50% of the lawful votes cast in at least 2/3 of the state, adding that INEC had to have relied on his guidelines instead of the provisions of Section 178, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Counsel to Oyetola, Wale Olanipekun, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and that of INEC, Yusuf Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, pointed the attention of the court to alleged inconsistencies in Adeleke's claims, saying the 1999 Constitution, as amended, was clear on the requirements for declaring a winner in the governorship election, a requirement not met by Adeleke. They urged the Supreme Court to dismiss the suits for lacking in merit.
There's a defect. We had argued that there's a defect in the notice of appeal, in the sense that they refer to themselves as respondents instead of appellants. And if the court agrees with us, it means that's a fundamental defect.
They raise objection that we wrongly inserted the name of respondent as opposed to the appellants, and we have corrected that error. That is just a mere mistake. That does not change the position of the counsel who appeared in respect of this matter, and that we maintain consistency.
The Court of Appeal had earlier declared Oyetola as the winner of the election, thereby overturning the tribunal judgment which gave Adeleke victory at the election. Both verdicts were split judgments. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And on a sad note on the foreign scene, the ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi is dead. Morsi, who was ousted by the army in 2013, died in court. Adewale Brookslyn Sunday reports.
The 67-year-old fainted during the court session in the Egyptian capital, after which he died. Eyewitness says Morsi was speaking before the judge for about 20 minutes when he became very animated and fainted. Judicial source has it that he was quickly rushed to the hospital where he later died. Morsi became Egypt's first democratically elected president in 2012, 1 year after the Arab Spring uprising saw the end of President Hosni Mubarak's 30-year rule. He was then deposed following mass protests and a military coup in July 2013 and was immediately arrested. Mohamed Morsi served just 1 year of a 4-year term, while the organization to which he belonged, the Muslim Brotherhood, has since been outlawed. Morsi, who was facing at least 6 trials, had been behind bars for nearly 6 years and was serving a 20-year prison sentence for a conviction arising from the killing of protesters during the demonstration in 2012. He was also serving a life sentence for espionage in a case related to the Gulf state of Qatar. Other charges against the former leader include jailbreak, insulting the judiciary, and involvement in terrorism. In November 2016, the Court of Cassation scrapped the life imprisonment sentence for Morsi and 21 other defendants, including some who had received the death penalty in the same case, and ordered a retrial. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday,
NTA News.
And for more stories around the globe, let's join Adebola Brooksland Sunday again for details.
It's nice that you're joining us on this segment of the news. The General Administration of Customs of China, GACC, says it has stepped up efforts to strengthen customs check against Ebola vis-a-vis the latest outbreak of deadly epidemic in some African countries. The agency said it will implement stricter inspection to prevent the deadly Ebola virus from entering the country. A recent statement by the World Health Organization says a total of 2,071 Ebola cases were reported between August 1st, 2018 and June 10, 2019. Of these, 1,396 deaths were recorded, making the fatality rate as high as 67.4%. Away from Africa, members of parliament have argued whether a new deal could be renegotiated with the European Union and the prospect of a no-deal Brexit. The UK was due to leave the EU on 29th March, but EU leaders agreed to delay the date to October after MPs repeatedly rejected Theresa May's Brexit deal. I am Adebola Brooksland Sunday. Thanks for your time.
And back home, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo this Monday hosted Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila at the presidential villa in Abuja, signifying the cordial relationship expected by Nigerians between the executive and the legislature. Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila told reporters after the meeting with the Vice President that issues of national importance top their discussion. The Speaker says reforms would be carried out in the House in piecemeal and build on whatever achievements of the 8th Assembly for the benefit of the people. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that Speaker Gbajabiamila says new committees would emerge very soon and calls for the cooperation of the media and other Nigerians for the National Assembly to carry out their assignments successfully. Now, Africa is perceived by many as one section of the world where people are inclined to wait for bad news. Therefore, what is good news, even when it's extraordinary, often becomes of little or of no interest. All of this superficiality or stereotypes is what the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization is attempting to address through an international conference organized by the center in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Chinwe Ezenwa is a Nigerian promoter of African heritage. She, however, believes that the aims of Pan-Africanism are far from being accomplished, even with the formation of the Organization of African Unity, now African Union.
By promoting made in Nigeria bags and accessories, we export them and we can repatriate the huge foreign exchange earnings the country is in dire need of.
Chinwe joins other participants at this conference to re-examine the concept of Pan-Africanism and its relevance in the 21st century through deployment of arts and culture to better the fortunes and future of Africa.
The perennial conflicts guiding poverty, hunger and disease, terrorism and all manners of social, cultural, economic and political challenges ravaging the continent, it becomes pertinent to ask if we had heard last word of Pan-Africanism.
With about $26 billion generated into the Nigerian economy by the diaspora last year, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Matters, Abike Dabiri Erewa, is hopeful that exportation of Nigeria and African culture can bring desired change.
Let's celebrate ourselves, the beauty of who we are as a people, as a country. Never ever accept anybody to stereotype you as a Nigerian.
There is no doubt that Africa and peoples of African descent have made some notable progress in global affairs.
There is nothing wrong. We must learn one language I've just developed, cultural diplomacy.
It is not out of place to discuss a new African identity.
Forging closer cultural links between continental and diaspora Africa is one major issue this international conference seeks to address. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
For the African child to remain relevant and compete favorably in the global scene, there is need for an effective framework which will assist in protecting the rights of the African child for full actualization of goals. Elizabeth Omoroyi reports that this was one of the recommendations by Nigerian children in Abuja as they celebrate the 2019 edition of the Day of the African Child.
Let's also recognize Atanda Kolawole, Deputy Director representing PERMSEC, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
At a glance, they looked like new intakes, ready to audition for a theatre performance. Little did we know that they are the compass for the program. They are the future of the African continent with great potential that when fully harnessed will build the prosperity of the continent. As they celebrate their day, factors that impede their growth such as molestation, modern slavery, mutilation, child labor, early marriage and poverty, they described in strong terms as barbaric and must be addressed.
I would like to change the fact that children are usually trafficked every single day. We always find children on the road. I want them to have good education.
As they bear their minds on cultural and social issues affecting them, they used the occasion to remind government, parents and society to take the protection of the rights of the African child as priority in order to raise generations that will foster the growth of Africa.
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, classified these rights under 4 broad themes: survival, development, protection, and participation. These rights enable children in practice to grow and develop in a holistic manner. These rights must therefore be safeguarded by one and all, and most particularly by the family.
They should be able to aspire to be whatever they want to be in life. Make them comfortable.
The children advocated education, qualitative health care, balanced meals, security and protection from all forms of abuse. There was also a show of creativity in arts through dance, drama and poem. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. Stay tuned, we'll have more reports after the break.
The NYSC 2019 Batch B Stream 2 orientation course will commence on Tuesday, 18th June 2019 in all NYSC orientation camps nationwide. Commencement of registration, Tuesday, 18th June 2019. Cut-off date for registration, 12 midnight Wednesday, 19th June. Swearing-in ceremony, Thursday, 20th June. Closing ceremony, Monday, 8th July 2019. Prospective corps members are advised to check the following newspapers for details of the orientation course. Daily Trust, Monday, 17th June 2019. The Nation, Tuesday, 18th June. Vanguard, Wednesday, 19th June. Blueprint, Thursday, 20th June. Prospective corps members are advised to report to the orientation camps indicated on their call-up letters. Signed, Management.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hotsports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Nigeria's premier sports production and marketing group, Hotsports, partners with the biggest, the largest and the #1 television network in Africa, the NTA, to give Nigerians a memorable viewing experience. Boost fan support for the Super Eagles to glory in Egypt. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
for staying with us. The First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has emphasized the need for women to continue to be role models in various fields of endeavors. This, she says, will inspire the younger generation to contribute meaningfully to national development. Mrs. Buhari stated this at a dinner in honor of the members of Guards Brigade, female military and police officers who participated at the parade during the maiden edition of June 12 Democracy Day celebration. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
These are the smiley faces of the gallant female military and police officers who entertained both domestic and international guests with what many refer to as brilliant performance during the maiden edition of June 12 Democracy Day parade at Eagle Square, Abuja. The discipline, passion, and the high sense of professionalism they displayed at the event is what attracted the First Lady of Nigeria to have resolved to honor them this evening with optimism of gingering them to do more in their service to the nation.
It is with all sense of pride and happiness I watched your recent display of high sense of commitment, patriotism, professionalism, and dedication through your performance. On those landmark occasions, the accuracy, discipline, and focus with which you all carried at your assigned tasks is worthy of commendation.
Mrs. Buhari is particularly delighted with their courage and confidence, as some of them are wives and mothers, yet they have broken the gender barriers to excel in what is generally believed to be a man's world.
Let me say you have won the hearts of Nigerians, including mine. You have also endeared many young ladies and even men to join military service and contribute in the protection of our dear nation, Nigeria.
The underlying messages in their performance indicate that women are also capable and can do well when given responsibilities.
While expressing appreciation for this recognition, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, alongside Commander Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Umar Thama Musa, described the development as unprecedented, adding that the responsibility they have exhibited is indelible in the minds of Nigerians.
It is therefore right to say that all citizens that have had the opportunity of participating in the series of events have registered their indelible services in the history books of our nation.
This evening event is very significant as it will boost the morale of my female soldiers far above and beyond normal heights.
You have, through this gesture and your innovative leadership style, inspired us to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more.
The young female officers of Guard Brigades are the combination of the military formation comprising Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Nigerian Police. The State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Who performed excellently during the 2019 general elections as ad hoc staff across the country will be given automatic employment by the Independent National Electoral Commission. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said this when the European Union honored 75 outstanding core members at the 2019 general elections. Olain Kaujo reports.
When Ibre Oje, a graduate of Educational Administration and Planning from the University of Calabar, gave her best during the 2019 general election serving in Kebbi State, little did she know that her commitment, dedication, and high sense of patriotism would be rewarded in the future. That future was not long. Just 3 months after, she joined 74 other Youth Corps members rewarded by the European Union for doing well during the polls.
You need to see us on waters as if we wanted to capsize. In fact, there was no time for us to even take pictures, for us to show Nigerians that we took risks.
The EU gave out a set of laptops and phones, each to the likes of OJ, for commitments and contributions towards ensuring free, fair, and credible polls.
Nobody deserves it more than you do. I've seen the hardship that some of you have to endure. You are really, truly amazing ambassadors. The journey has just begun.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu acknowledged the immense contribution of Youth Corps members to the conduct of elections in Nigeria.
There are many of you not in this hall who did very well in the elections. We'll identify you and will reward those who have done excellently in the elections with automatic employment in Nigeria.
Members are doing a lot for our country because our collaboration with INEC has gone to showcase that without the NYSC, things at times will not work.
Of course, Youth Ambassador Tuface Idibia couldn't resist to join the likes of OJ in celebrating this feat, which they all believe will encourage Youth Corps members to remain selfless in service for national development. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's join Olayinka Ojo again, this time for business news.
Welcome to Business News. Headline inflation increases by 11.4% year-on-year in May 2019, 0.03% higher than April 2019. On month-on-month basis, the headline index increased by 1.11% in May 2019. This is 0.17% rate higher than the rate recorded in April 2019. Urban inflation rate increased by 11.76% year-on-year in May from 11.7% recorded in April 2019. The African Development Bank has expressed optimism that Nigeria will soon ratify the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The Director, Industrial and Trade Development of the bank, Dr. Abdul Mukhtar, said, Nigeria is an important country for the area, and for the agreement to be effectively useful and really worthwhile, Nigeria has to be part of it. Let's now take a quick check on how the equities market fared this Monday. And that's it on the segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo.
And now to sports. 52 matches will be played in the African Cup of Nations in Egypt. In this first countdown to the 32nd AFCON, Amanzi Marcos goes back to how it all started 62 years ago.
The Lions of Cameroon lifted the Africa Cup of Nations at the end of the 31st edition held in Gabon after original hosts Libya were stripped of the hosting rights due to the ongoing war in that country. With the acronym AFCON, the biggest football competition in Africa is organized by the continental football ruling body, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, with headquarters in Cairo, the Egyptian capital. This is the first edition of NTA's 2019 AFCON countdown to the 32nd edition, holding from June 21 to July 19 at the headquarters of African football. At this stage, it is appropriate to look back at how it all began more than 6 decades ago. Sudan hosted the first edition of the Africa Cup of Nations in 1957, then known as the Football Championship of Africa. Hosts Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia participated in the maiden edition, which began at the semi-final stage. On the 10th of February 1957, Sudan lost 1-2 to Egypt as Ethiopia walked over South Africa, who were disqualified due to the apartheid policy of the white minority regime then. In the final, Egypt beat Ethiopia 4-0 to lift the first AFCON trophy on 15th February 1957 at the Municipal Stadium in Khartoum. The first edition lasted only 5 days, 10 to 15 February, and Mohamed Diab Al-Attar, popularly called at Diba, emerged the highest goal scorer with 5 goals. Nigeria's Green Eagles were among the 4 participating countries at the 1962 edition